Hello, my name's James Macsween from Macsween of Edinburgh. We're a third generation family business famous for making Scotland's national dish, haggis. We are very proud of our history as a manufacturer. We've been trained since 1953 and over the last few years we've started to do great things towards sustainability, not just environmental sustainability but sustainability in general, whether it's engaging with our staff, communities, charities, and our efforts to make our product more sustainable through local sourcing of our raw materials, which we source 67% from Scotland alone. Other materials come from outside the United Kingdom, but that's because of natural casing, for example, that we use to case our haggis having to come from other countries because of BSE. We first started off looking at effluent and water. We moved from a retail environment in the city centre of Edinburgh to a factory in 1996. At that point we used to use fresh water and dump effluent down the drains and had no real concern. When we moved to our new factory we had a water meter and our effluent was getting monitored, and this came as a bit of a shock to us. It wasn't something that we were prepared for, and we didn't know it to expect it. However, we quickly realised that our effluent was probably slightly dirtier than it could have been, and we started putting in some very simple techniques for cleaning up the effluent and getting some of the suspended solids out of the water by using sackcloths with a knot tied at the end, and we washed equipment into these cloths, and then we composted the cloths rather than the contents going down the drain. When we built the new extension in 2003, we took advantage of a loan from Loan Action Scotland. This enabled us to spend more money on a higher specification of light fittings, extra thick insulated walls, heat recovery from our refrigeration equipment, specifying high frequency lighting. All these techniques enabled us to use less power, whether it's gas or electricity, and it's helped reduce our carbon footprint as a business. At the same time, we self-administered ourselves through the climate change levy scheme. This enables us to recoup 80% of our tax through the CCL scheme. It's not complicated, but it's been highly beneficial. It's just a matter of getting into good habits, keeping and recording data, and filling out the paperwork and recording in a timely manner. The other plus side of this is that it's enabled us to actually know where we've come from and to see where we are now going. So then you can start putting data together and actually mapping out your performance and seeing whether you're doing any better or less. When we do less, however, we buy the appropriate amount of carbon credits to neutralise the extra carbon we've made. When we do well, we just put the carbon credits into the Food and Drink Federation pool, because of a company of our size it's very expensive to have that audited for us to recoup the tax. One of the most effective energy saving techniques we introduced, which has now reduced our gas year on year by 15%, is that we bought a meat slicing machine, and this pre-breaks the frozen ingredients that go into our haggis. So from taking a block of meat that gets guillotined into smaller segments and then cooked, we were able to use less gas and electricity through the cooking process, which has made our carbon footprint smaller. Where we're championing at the moment is through becoming landfill free. We hope by the middle of next year we'll be landfill free. We currently are 90% landfill free, and we are diverting that away. The remaining 10% is blood contaminated plastic, which we currently landfill, but we're looking to eliminate that. We segregate on source all our waste streams, whether it's food byproducts, plastic, cardboard, wax paper, drinking cans, office paper waste. We either bale or bag these appropriate wastes, and these get collected by a company that we work very closely with and get rebates for nearly all of them. Our food waste gets sent to an anaerobic digester, and fat that we recover from the manufacturing process gets sold to a biodiesel processor. These techniques have been very simple. A lot of it's through good communication and the appropriate level of training and education and continual re-evaluation of how the project's going, checking that what we're saying is actually what we're doing, looking in bins and just making sure that the waste is being segregated as we intended. I can't stress enough how important it is to engage with your staff at the right level. It's easy for me to say that this is what we're going to do, but without the appropriate engagement from our staff, none of it would ever happen. We involve our staff prior to a new system being introduced, during the implementation, and continue to engage with them through the life of the scheme that we've administered. So for waste segregation, we told them what was going to happen. We showed them that we were going to be using different coloured bin liners. We explained what the different bin liners were for, because they're different colours. We put appropriate signs up and clearly showed on the sign and gave them examples of what waste could go in certain coloured sacks. So for red sacks, it's printed plastic, vinyl gloves, blue oversleeves, anything that was, as long as it's clean and wasn't clear, because clear waste goes into clear sacks. And this has been really successful for us. What we've tried to do here is get everybody involved in being green. The level of engagement I have with my staff now is quite incredible. That in one of the last staff meetings, a member of staff had put their hand up at a recent team meeting and told us of his disgust that somebody had put the wrong waste in the wrong bag. Now, if I haven't done my job right, that would probably never have happened. But that shows the engagement that my staff now have in this business when it comes to green concerns. We also have an employee reward scheme for ideas that are introduced, implemented, tried and tested. One of the most successful ones was a member of staff came to me and wanted to suggest that we, instead of cutting the haggis and separating them individual portions with knives, could we try scissors? So myself and my quality manager talked about it, looked at the implications involved of changing a method to a different technique. We trialled the scissors and they were a great success, did all the appropriate microbiological testing to make sure that nothing had been affected. The net result is that we now do the job 50% faster than we used to by introducing scissors. And this shows the level of interest that I now have with the staff that work in my business. Something else that we've done is reported on our successes, and we now report every year as a sustainability report. It's a great way of us shouting about what we do and getting recognition for it, because through getting recognition we've won awards. In 2009 we won the Scotland Food and Drink Sustainability Award, and that led us on in the same year to win Business of the Year. And without us working at such a high level in sustainability, the award would never have been available. We also report on how we engage with schools, local communities and charities, and the work that we do as a business through these various avenues. To produce our environmental report, we constantly collect and record data that helps us put together the graphs that fit inside the report, from collecting water data, effluent data, the amount of cardboard we've generated, plastic, compost material, fat for biodiesel. It's really important that as long as you start collecting the information, you then have the basis to start producing some really good looking graphs, which won't necessarily look fantastic on year one, but when you start showing them against other years, you'll actually be quite surprised how well or how good the difference is made. So we currently report water against tonnes of haggis made. We show waste against production to make them actually be more meaningful than just graphs of how much is recycled, how much isn't recycled. So as long as for us that we continue to grow and manufacture more haggis, and our water and effluent is in line with production, and our waste is in line with previous years of production, that's acceptable in our eyes. Some of the other great reasons for reporting on sustainability is able to get your message heard. Every opportunity I have, I try and give a copy of our most current sustainability report to MSPs, leaders of industry, just to say, listen, we may be a small company, but we're doing an awful lot. It's helped us win awards, it's helped us to win grant funding for CapEx spend. We recently won an award of 30% of a huge capital investment project through the Food Marketing and Processing Scheme. This was fantastic for us because it enabled us to grow the business and continue to innovate into new products where previously the money wouldn't have been available to do so.